And welcome back. Will Worsham joins us now for this week's Speaking Legal discussion. Always good to see you.
Hey, it's always good to be here.
Yeah, are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
All right, here we go. My daughter's ex-husband asked her to reduce his child support obligation, and she said no. He has since filed for custody of the children. Is this something he is allowed to do?
Well, the short answer is yes.
I hope you have a longer answer.
We got some time to kill.
Or we're gonna, have a drink.
Sure, we can talk about that more. But yeah, you can do that. We've talked about child support, child custody issues in the past, and as you know, it's always in the best interests of the children. There's no way we can make a decision when the children are young that we know is going to be the right answer for the rest of their childhood.
Yeah.
So child support obligations, child custody arrangements are always subject to modification by the court. So now, here's a situation, though, where we see, obviously we can look a little bit behind the scenes and figure out what's going on. Somebody doesn't want to pay their child support anymore, okay?
That's what it sounds like.
Right, because they said, listen, I want to reduce my child support. She says no, she has every right to do that. So he's got two options, right? He's got the option to go to court and show that he has substantial and continuing changed circumstances that he can't make that child support obligation anymore. That's kind of a high burden, usually, especially when you're talking about reducing a child support obligation, because normally our ability to earn income increases.
Should, if you're doing it the right way.
You know, aside from being hurt or otherwise disabled, something like that. But normally our ability to produce income increases, which means it's more likely that your child support obligation over time is going to increase, not decrease, because your ability to pay increases, and you have an obligation to benefit your child. They have a sort of a right, not really, but they get the benefit of their parents' ability,
as they would if they were together.
If the marriage was intact.
And as a child ages, they're more expensive.
Well, that actually doesn't go into the calculation always, although we try to calculate things like what are their activities supposed to be and who should be paying for the burden of those. So that's part of it here too. So what happened here is it sounds like a dad said, hey, well, I'm not going to get a judge to drop this, but if I'm the custodial parent, then I don't have to pay child support. In fact, she would have to pay child support to me. So we see this happen, actually. It seems like we see this happen fairly regularly, is like the way to get your child support reduced is just become the custodial parent. And then you don't have to pay child support anymore. And sometimes it's retaliatory. A lot of times it seems like we'll see, you know, a mother may file, or let me be more generic, a custodial parent will file for an increase in child support. For whatever, rightly, wrongly, whatever, the response from the non-custodial parent is, that's fine. I'll just be the custodial parent then. And it'll be a filing that'll say, you want more child support? Tell you what, we'll just, don't worry about that. I'll just be the custodial parent and you can pay me child support instead.
Okay, but I hear that. The first thing I think of is a judge going, so you can't afford to pay a little more. How are you going to afford to be the custodial parent?
Right. Well,
you're going to do better for less?
All child support calculations ultimately, unless there's an agreement made to the contrary that the judge finds is appropriate, are based on what's called a Form 14 calculation. And so there's a form that's filled out that calculates, you know, the income of the parents, their obligations. It calculates a presumed child support amount that's appropriate, and then allocates that amount between the two parents. And then the non-custodial parent has to actually write the checks for their portion. So it's a situation. You know, the interesting thing about that people argue and complain about all the time is, well, why doesn't the custodial parent have to show that they're actually spending their amount on the child? And of course, then it gets to be a whole mess of worms. Like, well, I'm making the house payment. What percentage of that should be allocated to
complicated issues.
And these are complicated enough, divorces and child support custody, without getting mired up in the weeds. And so judges, you know, rightly, I would think mostly rightly, go, listen, we're only going to go so far. We're already probably far enough, if not too far, digging into the details of people's essentially personal lives. We're only going to go so far.
Also a question that kind of pops up. So if you have made a settlement, everything's down in black and white, It doesn't mean it's etched in stone, does
Well,
it?
certainly not when we're talking about child support, child custody,
Right.
and those things. Those are always going to be subject to modification because of the circumstances for the kids are always going to be changing, and the circumstances of the parents can be changing. The one thing that can be locked in stone essentially is a maintenance obligation. That would be any maintenance amount you might be obligated to pay your spouse as part of the divorce settlement. Many times, those are non-modifiable. Once that's set, it's not going to be modifiable in the future.
So once again, listening to this, I'm saying you find a good attorney.
Absolutely.
That's my advice.
Okay.
You have a question? Call him.
Yeah, that's right. How can people get a hold of you, Will?
Hey, they can visit us at our website at willworshamlaw.com. Call us at 863-9455. That's 863-WILL. Easy to remember. Or
Nice how that worked out.
Yeah, how about that? Email us here at the station, wworsham@color10.com.
All right. Good to see you as
You too.
always. All right, still to come on Ozarks Live. It's too late to sign up for the trip to Amish country. Advanced Tour and Travel is up next. They'll have more, though.